You're listening to I-95, Bangor's classic rock station with Jay, Stu, and Corey in the morning. Jay, Stu, and Corey rock.
I-95, Jay, Stu, and Corey on Bangor's classic rock station, 95.7 FM. Here we are rolling into Monday, and of course, the big news from the weekend is that this thing is over. At least as far as, where we left it on Friday goes. When we left, things were still sort of very up in the air and everybody was still kind of, confused and questioning. And then we all got up to some, it's debatable whether you call that good news or not on Saturday morning, Obviously the relief that it's over, but man, I know those families aren't going to feel like they necessarily got their justice.
No, I think there was no happy ending except for the fact that we could stop worrying about something imminent happening that was terrible. And that's about as good as you could get out of this entire situation for sure. So people starting the grieving process, people starting the healing process. And like I said, and like you just said too, it was a relief not to be on edge, but certainly I think everyone was kind of numb and on edge, and that's a weird place to be. And now all of a sudden, the enormity of the situation kind of sinks in, and then it becomes big. So, and then on top of that, somebody was saying, because I was at the robotics tournament on Saturday, and when the news came across that Matthew Perry from Friends had died too, and people had a visceral reaction to that as well, and they were trying to figure out why. And I said, because in times like that we just went through in Lewiston with Lewiston's situation, people that can take our minds off of it, comedic people, like people who seem very, accessible. When you lose one of those guys on top of it, it just seems like a really unfair whammy to everybody. Not to say that the two are even remotely related to this situation together and the gravity of it all, but I think it was just a bummer for everybody. It's just been a bummer couple of days.
There's that split too, you know what I mean? Like years before this, Mainers would grieve for people in other states that horrible things like this would happen to. Yet you feel that little bit of separation from it, so that your news feed feels like normal. It's like, oh, that's sad that happened here, and oh, Matthew Perry passed away. Here, it's like you said, it's everything's wide open and raw right now. Yeah. So it's like it's hard to filter through all of it. I mean, the good thing is, and I mean, we'll talk about this over the morning, of course, is the heroic stories coming out of all this, the outreach of, not just the Lewiston community, but communities beyond where people are just, we're doing what Mainers do, so, in the coming days, today, in the days and stuff in our websites, at the app and stuff like that, here, we'll start to try and bring a little more of that light in and try and push out some of the dark here and there wherever we can. So, we'll do that.
That's what we're going to do, and that's what we've been trying to do. So we're going to do what we know to do, and that's play classic rock and stop down and check in and whatnot. So it's going to feel a little more like normal, but only appropriately so. We're not going gung-ho, blazing into the morning. Like
it'll be like that kind of normal where you just smile a lot, nod a lot. Where inside you're like, yeah, I'm not normal, but I guess I'm supposed to act normal. So let's be normal.
We'll do our best. So we'll do our best together. How's that sound?
All right, let's crank up the tunes. It's the crew. I-95, Bangor's classic rock station. Jay, Stu, and Corey with you this morning. My wife went to the vigil last night here in Bangor.
That's right. I saw that they had that. How did that go?
She said it was very, it was sort of a great moment within the city. Obviously we're fortunate to have not been part of the horrible stuff.
Yep.
Sure. But it was still great to see. She said, just tons and tons of people show up, and they were great speakers, and it was very sort of, it wasn't too much of one thing or anything like that. It was like a well-rounded sort of thing among the speakers and stuff like that. So it's nice to see things like that pop up. as far as...
It looks like there are going to be, in the coming days, many opportunities to do that.
Sure.
With different vigils. And I believe that there's just a GoFundMe for Lewiston that they put together just for the city itself as well to help those families affected by everything. So that's always...
bunch of musician friends things that I have in that area, because if you're a musician from Maine, especially a rock, metal, whatever, we've always just called it Lewiston Rock City. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, because that's where the fun shows happen more often than not. And there was this run of shirts by this band, I can't remember, and just on the back, like it had their logo on the front, but on the back it said Lewiston effing Maine. Mm-hmm. So I think those guys, I don't even think they're a band anymore, but I think they're getting together to put some stuff together to do another run of those T-shirts so that they can get those out to all, the locals, because that's a huge community up in there, like the metal community in Lewiston and stuff. Like they're all going to want to represent in that way. So I've been having fun watching all these things on Facebook about everybody trying to just help, do something, like they feel like they're just sitting around doing nothing. So they're like, all right, I'm going to do a run of T-shirts, because what else am I going to do? Let's do this.
It's we have a beautiful group of people here in the state of Maine, and I'm not surprised, as I said last week, when everything was happening. It's a very unique and wonderful and resilient breed. We as Mainers, especially down in the Lewiston area, as you said, everyone's cousins. Yeah. I mean, everyone's somehow connected to one another. So
Lewiston's just a giant winter port. You know what I mean? It's just like there's like 5 families in Lewiston, and between the 5 of them, literally everybody is related. I have friends that live down there. When they have family reunions, like if we have a family reunion in my family, it's like 8 people at camp, right? You do it down there, it's like you have to rent a hall because there's like 100 cousins that show up. It's just nuts. So it's great watching them all just sort of band together and, circle the wagons kind of and help everybody out.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And there are places that you can help and things that you can do. And we've got some information about that. And as they start to kind of pop up, those opportunities, we'll make sure to pass those along today. We're just going to take a break from our morning music matchup. Those of you who are looking for it, it's not on there today. We're just going to give it another day or so before we resume that. Obviously trying to be sensitive to how everybody's feeling, and everyone's at different stages of that. So, and hopefully we can turn some of the wanting to help into some good, productive ways to help for you. So we'll pass those along as we get that information too.
Indeed. We'll keep it all coming at i95rocks.com and the app. I-95, Bangor's classic rock station. I don't know what I thought I was going to say right there. I'm like, Bangor's classic rock.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't have to scrape anything this morning, did you? Did you have any frost on the way in?
No. However, it's funny because my wife texted me earlier. She's like, hey, did the dog do his business? Because I took him outside right when I got out of bed. And he, how do I put this gently? Last night, he decided he didn't want to do part of what he normally does at night, right? Outdoors.
Yep. Okay.
So a lot of times when I get up and take him out first thing in the morning, he'll pick up where he left off the night before.
Gotcha.
So this morning I took him out and he went out, he did a little business and then ran straight back for the door. And I was like, you know what? I'm going with you, as opposed to, dragging you back this way, because I was just in pajamas. And I was like, it's way too cold to be out here for this.
Yeah.
So, it was brutal. So, but
it was weird. That's going to be apparently the forecast for the next upcoming, however many days, because we've hit that shift.
Oh,
but, Saturday was that last beautiful day. And with the beautiful, in the 70s. And I was in John Baptist doing the robotics tournament that they had there. And I couldn't help but think, because it was 12 hours of robotics, which was nice and it was great. And they had a fun time, and it was definitely a great meet. But it was one of those things where you could see outside and you were like, it's so pretty. It's going to be the last pretty. So took the kids to the corn maze after. And everyone was like, oh, you don't have to. I mean, my daughter was like, I'm wearing shorts. I'm like, I know it was 70 today, but it's still going to it's going to cool off quick.
Oh, as soon as the sun goes down.
They said it was going to cool off quick. Yeah, as soon as that sun went down, it was free. thankfully I had like extra blankets and extra fleece and stuff in the back from cross country.
Like you literally told the same story like last week, and it was your son that was like at the last one. He's like, "Oh, do you have pants in the car?"
Yeah.
So
this is why I walk around with a small wardrobe in my back seat, because my children don't listen. But yeah, it got cold. And then yesterday I started seeing crunchy leaves, and I was like, ah.
Todd Simcox is today calling for snow.
For today. I think there were some flakes yesterday.
Could be.
Because Noah came in from playing outside, and he was like, "Mom, it's snowing outside." And I was like, "What?"
It might be spitting. And here in Bangor, I don't think we're going to see much. Our friends up north, it's as the further north you go, it's going to start to turn into a mix. And I think the county is going to see some full on like accumulation. So
it is that time.
Yeah.
That time of year. You know, back when we were kids, I remember being 8 years old. I had that Dorothy costume, and I had to wear my snowsuit over it, and I was mad.
Well, to your point, though, trick-or-treating tomorrow night is supposed to be super cold.
I'm starting the wood stove.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without question.
That's what I did yesterday.
They're saying,
started cleaning that out.
You know, we'll have Todd's forecast coming up here just in just a few minutes. But you know, tomorrow night the low could get down. You know, trick or treaters it could be below freezing while they're out doing their business tomorrow night.
Below freezing?
Yeah.
Oh, crumbs.
So
I got to find where all the mittens are.
This is not the year. This is not the year to be a fairy princess. You have to be like a winter fairy princess. Something like that.
The turtlenecks looks good. Yeah. It fits underneath there.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you don't need tights. You need snow pants. That's. But we will have Todd's forecast in just about 5 minutes coming right up here on I-95. I-95, Bangor's classic rock station at 95.7 FM. Rush won. No, I'm kidding. That would have been where we would have had our winner for the morning music matchup today. We'll get back to that tomorrow.
Yes.
And
right in time for Halloween. We'll do some Halloween-themed stuff. We're just taking the day to kind of be mindful of the fact that people are still reeling. I mean, not that they're going to not be reeling tomorrow, but we want to kind of
no, but it's Halloween is one of those great times to get a little bit of relief from all that too. You know, you get to see all the great costumes and the kids having a blast and doing their thing. You know, it's one of those. I was seeing actually pictures from the poorhouse over the weekend of people that went out, and some friends of mine played there, and I was seeing what they had, and there seemed to be this. They posted, I don't know, 30 or 40 pictures, and the vibe seemed so, you know, just like, whew, you know, there was just that sort of like just weird glow on everybody. It was. You know, kind of nice to see everybody, and not just because of the obvious reasons, you know, because they're at the poorhouse for Halloween. But, you know, it just seemed like there's that collective sigh of relief that has happened a little bit, you know, on some level.
Well,
for people not directly involved, you know.
The kids' activities go, I know most of them Friday and into Saturday as well actually were canceled. A lot of people's, you know, trunk or treats or whatever were canceled. So, but one thing that wasn't was the night maze over at Tree Orgies. They said, you know, we want to give people an opportunity to come out. But, of course, we had talked about the fact that that's not supposed to be anything spooky. You know, you just basically walk around and find the different stations and get little candy or apples, or depending on what it is. So I took the kids on the very last show slot on Saturday after the robotics thing, and they had a police presence there. They had the sheriff there, which I thought was pretty good. And I'm glad that they did, because that's not supposed to be something scary. And in light of everything that had happened, you know, just 24 hours prior, 48 hours prior, I think it was supposed to be a good relief. And some yahoo decided, some young guy, and I think a couple of friends, that they were going to dress up with like scary clown masks, and they were on the outskirts and like popping out and kind of scaring people. You could hear. So they shut that down pretty quick. I would like to just, you know, give Trier just props for being on it. They were like, nope, not going to do that today. Like, people are coming here to enjoy it. So it's always got to be that one guy.
Oh,
you know,
this is the world with our entire society is a comment section on social media at this point. So, but yeah, Halloween tomorrow. The kids are going to be out and about doing their thing.
It's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold. We'll have a Halloween themed morning music matchup, and then we'll keep it going the rest of the week. But meantime, we will get back at the classic rock here on I-95. I-95, Jay, Stu, and Corey on Bangor's classic rock station at 95.7 FM. Currently raining here, but...
in Brownville, it is definitely snowing. We got listeners let us know that it's snowing there. We actually had video of it on our site, and a handful of snow, yeah.
Oh, man.
So it's for real snowing.
Wait, video of a handful of snow?
No, a picture of a handful of snow and video of it snowing.
Oh, okay. I don't like either of those things, to be honest with you. You know, that's if I were to make a list of things that I found terrible, those two things would be low on the list, but on the list. Snow today, but mostly up north. I don't think the Bangor area is going to see much. Todd Simcox says we could see a mix here in the Bangor area, but it's probably mostly just going to be rain here. And the closer you get to the coast.
Put snow tires on?
October 1st.
Oh, so it's all good to go. So when I have to take my van, which has a belt on it that is smoking right now, into my mechanic, I can be like, hey, and by the way, you want to put my snows on right now?
Yes, you should literally just throw them in the back of your car.
Remember last year how I did it like in February? And then we had one last snowstorm, and then I didn't go anywhere with it. So I was like, well, okay. Well, that's done then.
It's all right. I don't think I took mine off till like July 11th or something. So we're supposed to come off like the first week of, or by April 15th or by May 1st. Or I think it's May 1st, actually. But
so I can, at least maybe that's how I'm going to get them on in time for the beginning of the season, is just to do it that way this year. So thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Belt That's Smoking, for that one.
I actually timed my next oil change to go with getting my tires replaced, so I can just go to the garage and get it all done at once. Just be like, hey, switch out the tires, change the oil, please. Yes. Like that. So,
all right. Well,
let's crank up some classic rock. Then we have other things that we have, you and I have been talking about that we want to get to this morning. So let's get up into some Foreigner. I-95, Bangor's classic rock station. Jay, Stu, and Corey here this morning. In this rainy, gray day. Tomorrow is supposed to be, quote unquote, gorgeous.
With
abundant.
Snow,
no, tomorrow. Tomorrow is supposed to be abundant sunshine, but cold.
Okay.
It's going to snow today. And maybe a little spitting overnight in this area and stuff, but
just a reminder, too, in the Bangor area, if you are one that does the leaf collections or you depend on that, today is the day, the beginning of the leaf collection pickup that they do. So you want to make sure you rake your stuff to the side of the road. My kid can't get the lawnmower started. I was like, hey, just go out and mow them all up. Because at this point, we have the last tree on our block because of the way the houses are situated, where my tree does not like the leaves. And it'll like wait and hang on until like December. And then it's like, all right, I'm done.
Mine, because I don't have a bagger, but I have a riding mower. And the first couple passes, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done. Because I usually mow them up a little bit. I mean, I've got these nice clear paths. And then all of a sudden I realize as I'm circling in a little more that it was like the pile of leaves was just getting bigger and bigger. And I was like, wait a minute. Am I actually chopping these leaves up, or am I just blowing them into a huge pile? I'm not sure which. So then I had to start running over the pile repeatedly, trying to get that to mulch up a little bit and stuff. And it was just, such an issue. Such an issue.
Well, just heads up, that's what's happening. And those dates for other towns like Orono and Brewer are going to come here pretty quick. Usually it's Bangor first and then Orono and Brewer. And maybe you have one in your community, but you definitely want to check on when those leaves are going to be collected if that happens out your way, because that's coming. And for us here in Bangor, it's here.
We definitely don't in mine.
Yeah,
we have a place
where
services. No, not really. We have a place you can bring them like all the time. Any time of the year. There's plenty of places in Hamden where you can get rid of that stuff. At the town dump, but not a service like, hey, we're going to come sweep all these. They couldn't. If you get out where I am, you're like, what are my leaves? What are nature's leaves? There'd be no difference. And like you could sweep that road for a week and it would look like you didn't even do it. So it would be a thankless endeavor. I don't blame them for not wanting to do that part. So, but that is up now. We have that up at the website, right?
We do have that information. I might bring that right back.
We probably should. We should. So we have that. We have that available for folks.
Okay.
So check that out. We'll have that up shortly at i95rocks.com or the app. Jay Stu and Corey on Bangor's classic rock station, I-95 at 95.7 FM. Hanging out on, for some, the first snowy day of the year, which is scary and strange. And but winter is almost here. Ugh.
Yeah. Like we said, actually, so we're talking about today being the day in Bangor that they collect the leaves or start the leaf collection. We talked about October 1st being the date that you could put your snow tires on. How about the fact that this coming weekend is fall back?
Yep.
My favorite time of year. Only because in my mind, I get an extra hour of sleep, even though I won't use it for sleep, but I'm psyched about that. It's always my favorite time of year.
Well, you could use it for sleep. You just won't.
I want to, Jay Stu. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's that I just know I won't because I'll do other things. I get very little sleep in my day. You know this.
Yeah, I think you're barking up the wrong tree for sympathy about how little sleep you get.
Oh, I know. You don't get any either. I get it. But I'm psyched that it's this coming weekend.
Yeah. Although, they always say the stuff starts to go around every year about whether or not they're going to get rid of it or stay on one or the other. And I think last year it got as far as through the Senate. Like the Senate was like, all right, we're down with this. Let's leave it on one and that's it. And then it got into the House of Representatives, which we all know is just a complete crap show anyway. And then it just never made it out of there. It just like disappeared into the governmental process the way so many things do.
I know.
So, yeah, it got red taped away is what happened. I mean, I get it. They got bigger fish to fry than whether or not we're going to keep turning the clocks forward and back and forward.
And how do you
adjust?
Like, I mean, would it be that easy of a thing? Would it be that, I mean, it would take some doing as well, I think. Just, I don't know. We can't agree on anything, and I can only imagine how that would just adjust. The entire world would have to get beyond that.
It would just turn into that stupid meme with the lady that yells at the cat and they have the thing that goes back and forth. That'll be what Congress is like if they ever actually legit. Well, that's just what they're like.
Yeah.
And they're both, they're both each character. They take turns being each character. It's hilarious.
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, that is coming up this weekend, so beware of that. And the fun that ensues when that happens, especially when you have kids and animals who don't care, and their clocks are set a certain way, so they're going to be up when they're used to. That's what I hate about weekends. I was telling my son, I'm like, your dog is here, let him out. If you're going to let him out of your room, get up and let him out in the morning. 5:30 on Saturday, on the side of my bed, and I'm like, son of a... There's a little Kimmy. He's tiny and he's cute. Not my son. He's huge and he's a pain in the ass. But the dog wants to go out and pee. And I was like, come on, man. Then I thought to myself, should I wake him and tell him to come let his dog out? But then I thought, no, then there'll be two really mad people up at 5:30 in the morning. Just get out and let this dog out.
I still would have made him do it.
He yelled at him when he woke up. I was like, dude, your dog.
Oh, well.
Good morning.
We still have plenty to go this morning as far as checking in with you about stuff. We have more things at i95rocks.com we need to talk about and how the rest of the week is going to shake out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
and we're going to resume our contesting for U2 tickets.
Yep. We'll have that code coming up later on this morning. So stay right here. I-95. I-95, Jay Stu and Corey, Bangor's classic rock station at 95.7 FM.
Just heard from our buddy Snowman, who's hauling tar up to Dexter.
It's funny because
on the road.
Isn't that where Richard said he was the other day too? He was hauling it up
probably.
there.
They must be because they both kind of run for the same. Well, I think for the same company or at least the same route. So, good morning to all those hauling stuff today. I know part of the kind of ripple effect of what happened over the last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, was that they had all those truckers, at least 100, backed up. Coming off the interstate to deliver their goods to the Lewiston Walmart distribution center. And they couldn't get in. So there became this, and I had reached out to a couple of other trucker friends of ours that listen, and I was like, what's the deal with that? And they said, we just have to park it. So they were basically parking up to 100 trucks at least. And at last, I think on Friday at 11, I was told 700 orders had been canceled, which is going to be a little bit of a ripple effect down there also to what you can get for goods at the different Walmart stores across so the next couple of weeks are going to be, it's good. They're going to be weird because the trucks that were bringing goods couldn't unload the goods because the goods that had been dropped on Wednesday.
Well, and that's not just Walmart. That's all the restaurants getting their food and dry good deliveries.
Yep.
Everything, I'm off the top of my head, like florists, probably construction supplies. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Like anything that involves you receiving something is probably going to be all mucked up for a few days.
Yep.
Which is understandable, with all that had to be done. There was so much unknown stuff going on for the first 48 hours that, safety was on top of everybody's concern, of course.
Well, and I think when they lifted that shelter-in-place order, too, a big consideration was obviously for safety, but also they had so many people backed up, and the truckers were running out of food and fuel that they had a secondary problem on that run. So hopefully hopefully over the weekend it was able to kind of get resolved a little bit, and those truckers were able to go somewhere and go on to their next jobs. But many of them missed that connection because of everything that went on too. So it's a weird, unforeseen problem that came out of that situation. Another one. So
absolutely. Well, we have info on it. You can read about sort of the problems that arose from that. Plus, there's a whole host of other great pieces of content surrounding the events of the last several days and stuff that we have up at i95rocks.com or the app.